The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Why is it that we always act in the wrong direction? We are the same people that are crying for freedom. We are the same people that are telling the world how we are fighting corruption, fighting bad governance, fighting all the things that are keeping African poor. Yet, when other people rise to do the right thing, we are the same people that will rise up and fight against them. Every institution have leadership, and this leadership, their responsibility is to make sure that things go on well in this organization, but not for us to be excited to praise other people that are doing the wrong thing. But when it comes to Africa, it seems to be different with our leadership. African Union that has been silent over people who are changing constitutions to remain in office for a lifetime, people who are doing things that are not right, that this union is supposed to rise up to talk. This union is always silent. African Union is in the action again, suspending Madagascar from the bloc and asking them to restore constitutional rule back in Madagascar. Yet the people in Madagascar were crying for electricity, water, hardship, and poverty, and other things in Madagascar. Yet African Union could not rise up to tell the president in Madagascar to do the needful for his people. The president in Togo changed the constitution. African Union was silent about it. We saw what is happening in Cameroon. We saw what is happening in Ivory Coast and other parts of Africa. And we have also seen how water is being destroyed under the watch of African Union, all in the name of illegal mining. African Union has never acted when it's supposed to act. It's only rising against the people that are fighting for the liberation of the citizens in Africa. What kind of organization is this? We have this man in the name of a president in Madagascar holding citizenship of France. So practically, this man is not an African. Yet this is the kind of person that is leading Africans, and African Union couldn't do anything about this.
Effect until constitutional order is restored after a coup that ousted President Andry Rajoelina. The group previously suspended several other member states after military coups, including Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea. The uprising resulted in a military-backed coup that brought Rajoelina to power as the transitional leader of his Indian Ocean country at the age of just 34. On Tuesday, the same military unit that aided Rajoelina rise declared it was taking power in Madagascar and ousting him as president following weeks of youth-led protests, this time against Rajoelina and his government.
Everything took place at a blazing speed. In a scenario evoking the Nepalese precedent in Madagascar, the military proclaimed their takeover after 3 weeks of massive demonstrations that shook the big island of the ocean. Indian CE, Tuesday, October 14th. Everything has indeed changed. The National Assembly impeached President Andry Rajoelina, who had announced a few hours earlier the dissolution of this same institution. The deposed president, for his part, had left the country in a hurry. A few days earlier, since the 25th of September, there were attempts against me, and coup attempts. A group of military and politicians planned I was forced to find a safe place to protect me, even if the president, on the run, did not specify the whereabouts of this safe location. Seems to have been revealed by the charter of its means of transportation. A support arrived at the right time that, in the end, is not so surprising after all. It is indeed a French citizen, yes, because Andry Rajoelina had hidden his French nationality to its fellow citizens at the time of his election campaign, whom he had brought to power in 2009 for his first term, but it was over by knowing each other a few months later. While on this point, the Malagasy law is, however, very clear. We protest against the last elections. Yes, because according to the Malagasy law, a person of foreign citizenship automatically loses Malagasy citizenship, as he obtained French citizenship in 2014. It means for us that he is no longer Malagasy. It will not work, so never for the state and the Malagasy people. It is, of course, one of the reasons why we consider that he will not work never for the interests of the Malagasy state. The exfiltration of the head of state by the French has only accentuated the suspicions of involvement of the Hexagon in Malagasy internal affairs, a new occurrence that may worsen, again, the positions of LA France in Africa, as had already been the CAS in Burkina, au Mali, et au Niger.
We need to dissolve this organization because it's not acting in the interest of us. It's a white man's organization that is there to fight against us. No wonder this organization, when we needed it to fight for the betterment of Africa, is fighting for the size of a map. What does the size of a map has to do with the African problem? This wouldn't change the illegal mining destroying the water bodies. This wouldn't change the presidents or the leaders that we have that are doing nothing to do something better for us. The same people that will meet every year in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, wasting taxpayers' money. Like one man said, they only go there gather to sing and dance and feed themselves. The citizens in Madagascar protested, called for the voices of African Union to step in to fight for them. Yet African Union saw that all the bad things that the president of Madagascar was doing to his people was the best thing. So there is no need for them to call for freedom. And now that they had a leader that is rising to set the people free, now African Union is saying that they do not belong to the organization. And what has your suspension done? You've suspended Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. They are doing perfectly well. All we are hoping for is this military leader to just act in the interest of the people like we are seeing in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Even if he doesn't know how, at least he should consult Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. We are all hoping for the military to take over the whole of Africa, because what our leaders are doing in the guise of democracy, we are not seeing any improvement. Backwards and hardship and poverty all over Africa, and this is what we are proud of. These leaders were in UN just some days ago, and the puppets were all calling for what we can do for ourselves. Colonization came. For how many years now? Can't we do things for our own selves? It's because we have this organization that is acting in the interest of the West. That is why Africa is still here. And we are poor day in, day out. And this union is watching leaders destroying everything of the African. Africa has nothing. The West foreigners are coming into the continent to take control over everything. We have resources here. These resources are not ours. We've seen the Kissinger report exposing everything. Yet African Union will not act in that interest because it serves its masters. And it is we, the youth, that have the right to rise up. It is our future that these people are playing with. And we are the ones that can set the next generations free. If we want to leave slavery as an inheritance to our next generations, it is unto us. It's just that majority of us claim we have freedom, but the African is never free. We are still under modern slavery. The neocolonialism is new form of colonization. But because we are not having chains on our hands, we think that we are free. And every year, because of the so-called Independence Day that we always celebrate, the Africans think we are free. If we don't rise up to fight for our own future, this organization will hide under the guise of white skin and be destroying the future and the next ones to come. African Union is a failed organization, and that is what we need to know as a people.